Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Crank Addict and this is the channel for crank addicts like me and hopefully like you. Today we're going to be looking at this Holley classic door panel. This is a passenger side door for a 73, well here it says 77 to 87 C10, but you can put on the 73 and 76s if you're ready to convert them to the bigger door panels, power windows, power locks, all that kind of stuff. And since I'm doing the conversion, this is going to work perfect. So stay tuned. Let's check out this door panel and see if it's worth the premium price. Alright, well here is the door roughly mocked up on my K5 Blazer. We're going to be chopping off the windshield frame later, so I'm not too concerned with that. But the overall quality looks pretty good here. It did come with this dent right here in the door that we'll have to fill with a little bit of Bondo. It's not too bad, but access to the back side is kind of hard. I can fill the dent on the back side if I can only get to it. But oh well. Also, there was a bit of a concavity right across this section here, but I was able to push that out a little bit because there is better access from the back side here, so I pushed that a little bit, and with some Bondo that should smooth out pretty well. The body line is great, and the lower section here is just slightly convex, which I think is gonna be okay. So anyway, I'm in the process of fitting this door. It doesn't quite fit the way the original one does, so let's check this out. Alright, well I am struggling in getting this gap here closed. I want to get this gap tight, kind of like this. So when you're driving down the road, the wind doesn't catch this inside leading edge. So it needs to be flushed in. I'm running out of adjustment on my hinges though. So it's time to take these hinges to the grinder and make them fit. Alright, so that took about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little more, maybe an 1/8 on this leading edge here. So when I bolt this hinge up, I'll be able to push that door in a little farther. Now there's going to be a limit on how far you can push that door because eventually the door starts leaning up against this hinge here. So anyway, let's go try this out and see how it works. I think my impact driver is on the boat. Alright, so I don't have a latch in the back here. Body lines tell me that it's a little crooked this way. So either the back needs to go back or the front needs to probably want to drop the back down a little bit. And that's these two side ones here. That may mess up my body line. To drop a little bit there. So I'm going to push this whole door up a little bit by using this towel, fold it over 3 times. Alright, so I'm going to loosen up the bolts. Up. Up. That's a little crooked again in the back. Up on top, this top edge is looking really good. So you can see what difference just an 1/8 inch makes all the way up there. But the bottom edge is pretty far out. So that means I need to modify this bottom hinge and to push this bottom hinge in, which is actually going to bring the whole thing out a little bit. It'll probably rotate it, but it'll get rid of some of the discrepancy between top and bottom. It'll even it out a little bit more, and then I'll see if I need to do some more on the top hinge. I probably will. Bottom hinges are always tough. These bottom hinges can be tough because there's only so much room you can work with, because you start to run into interferences with the door panel itself and the hinge. Yeah, always a tough one. Don't know if I can do a whole lot more there. Just feeling it, I think I can do a little bit. Not much. So I'm gonna make sure those bolts are nice and tight, and I'll take off one at a time, and then I'll mark where I need to grind. And if I get another 1/16 out of here, that'll make this top look a lot better. All right, so here is the Holley premium door installed on the K5 Blazer. It's finally lining up well. And check out the gap here in front. It's pretty even all the way to the top. A little tight up there on top. You look at it from the side though, the reveal is pretty good going all the way up. Hopefully that won't catch too much wind. It looks about the same as on my other side anyway. You know, these square bodies were never super quiet. Back here in the back, yeah, huge gap, probably a 1/4 inch gap, but it's nice and even all the way down. Like I said, I'd love to be able to scoot this door back, you know, 1/8 of an inch, but that's gonna leave a huge gap up here in front. So you just gotta, you know, work with what you got, you know. Some people will go back here and add an 1/8 inch of filler rod to tighten up that gap, and I might do that. We'll see. Maybe. Okay, but I'm pretty happy with the front here. That's the important thing right there. But it wasn't easy to get there. Check out my bolt holes in here. Okay, I had to slot them quite a bit in order to get this door pushed in to where it needs to be. I probably need to do more work on this back bolt, but it's hard to get to with the door in place, so I'll mark it and grind it later. But you can see where, you know, from the factory it used to be. Same here on the bottom. You can see how far I pushed that over. I'm probably going to weld in some metal to fill in that back gap on all 3 of those holes. On the bottom, woo, look at that one. I had to really slot that one there out. In fact, I slotted it so much, I was actually hitting down here on the inner structure. I could probably have cut that out, put a little hole in that piece, and it would not have shown from the outside. But it would only have gained me maybe an 1/8 of an inch or so. So, in order to get that last little bit out of this bottom one, you can see I had to slice the hinge itself. I took an 1/8 inch out of it, plus I trimmed it down a little bit, so maybe 3/16 total. And I tack welded on the back side. and that allows me to get this thing just a hair bit tighter. You can see I had to do a little relieving around this hinge, and I also ground this down for clearance so that it doesn't show. So yeah, I've got a little bit of welding on this lower hinge to make it solid again, but lower gap is super tight. Wow. Yeah, back gap is okay. Lower gap is really snug, because that's a good thing. And yeah, we got it in there. You know, these reproduction doors, actually, on a K5 Blazer, even the factory door rarely fits the way it's supposed to. Because let's face it, this truck was probably owned by some 18-year-old kid at some point in its 50-year life. And it's been jumped more than once, I guarantee you. So yeah, all these things are a little bit wonky. But I'm pretty happy with that. That looks pretty good. Alright, again, here's the factory door that I pulled a few things out across the top here. You can see the gaps are pretty big in front, and maybe slightly smaller in the back. It is pretty close to the same setup as the passenger side. So, would I buy another Holley premium door? You know, these rust-free factory doors are getting harder and harder to find, and when you do find them, they still take a bit of fitment. So, yeah, I'd probably buy another Holley premium door. So, that's my review. Hope this helps you guys out. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button.